Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 6:15 on Sunday 10th of May. Just on the way down to the land, and as you can see from outside, what a difference in a day with the weather. We had a big storm pass through last night, lots of rain, strong winds, so I'm anxious to get down to the land and see what we can get done today, and more importantly, see how everything's coped with the storm. Let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. Geese flying over. It's been a busy night with the weather overnight. Big rain, big winds. Having said that, it's nice in that the land did need a bit of water. My rain storage tanks certainly did need a bit of water. Levels were down low. Be interesting to see how much has gone in there overnight. Anyway, here we are, day 3 of the long weekend. Hoping to play catch up from what I didn't get done yesterday with the cabin electrics. Everything seems to be pretty much as it was yesterday. Was a bit worried about the Polytunnel with the rain and the wind overnight, but everything seems to be fine. I'm sure that the plants outside in the raised beds have enjoyed having a good drink. Certainly saved me a job today. Only the Polytunnel to do. You can see from the ground actually it's still got cracks from where we've had that several weeks of hot weather, so it is going to take a bit more rain to have an impact. Anyway, I'll get myself opened up. You can tell it's early still because the lights keep flicking on the cabin. I'll get myself opened up and you can catch up with progress as we go along through the day. Well, here we are inside the Polytunnel, and I guess you can probably hear it's chucking it down with rain outside. I think this is in for the day, certainly. The wind's not letting up either, but plants are all looking very nice. Pumpkins are carrying on their extraordinary growth, as are the cauliflowers, the cucumbers. I don't think they're going to need any water this morning, but I will top them up before I leave at the end of today. Tomatoes are coming on very well now. In fact, there's another new one just peeking up. So quite pleased with those. First time I've ever done them, and they're coming quite well. Anyway, I've got that solar to catch up with, so I've got to go and get myself back outside. I might even need to light the fire today, given the temperature drop and the fact that it's throwing it down with rain, but we'll see, I guess. Just closed up the Polytunnel. I thought I'd quickly show you these before I dash back inside out the rain. All looking very, very healthy in that first bed. Definitely got some flower heads forming on some of those. Second bed, likewise, all standing up very well. They're going to be enjoying this drink, as I'm sure are the potatoes after the little frost damage earlier in the week. And the last raised bed also looking very nice. Carrots a bit windswept, but I'm sure they'll get over it. Anyway, gotta get myself back in the cabin, out of the rain, and see what we can get done today. Well, first things first, now I'm back in the cabin, with it being miserable outside, I thought I would get the wood burner going. So that's just flaming away there, merrily getting fired up. Also made myself a cup of coffee in my new mug from my friend on YouTube, COVID Hunter. Check out his channel, anything to do with wildlife and shooting and butchering and cooking of your own food, or the meat variety. Check him out, COVID Hunter. And thank you for the mug. Right, so now that's going, I can turn my attention back to the electrics, get under the cabinet and start wiring up, and hopefully we'll have some solar today. So we're in the workbench cabinet as we were yesterday. You remember that yesterday I lined the cabinet out all the way around, installed the batteries, and I connected the batteries in parallel with these thicker cables so that I could maintain the same voltage but double the ampage. I also did a first fit of a power out junction box that just feeds round into these terminals, and then now I've just taken the incoming power feed from the panels. Clearly they're not connected up yet. I've just connected that to the batteries as well at the positive and negative terminals. So in theory, if we go up to the charge controller, which is mounted at the top of the cabin, yeah, you can see there it's now registering power. This is the battery connection cables here. It's showing 12.7 volts. It's showing going out to load. There's clearly nothing running off that yet. It's just registering that there's a cable connected to the battery taking power out. When I get the solar panels connected, they'll come in on these two terminals here and feed in a loop through to the batteries down under the cabinet. So we've got a few hours of fiddling around sorting out these internal circuit cables for the lights and power, etc. in the cabin. Going to be a couple of hours of fiddling around with wires, so bear with me and we'll see how we get on in due course. When you look in the cabinet, it seems like nothing's been done. It's 8:30 already, but it is. I've been busy making up these wiring looms that feed into the junction boxes from the battery. Each of the junction boxes has 2 feeds in, 2 feeds out, and then I've got those other junction boxes to wire up. These little things here are just inline fuses. Each of the circuits going out to the various places around the cabin will be fused. So yeah, it's nice being in the warm with that wood burner going. It's just fiddly, time consuming stuff, but we're getting there slowly. Well, we're still plugging away inside the electrical cabinet. Bit of an explanation. These are the feeds for the different circuits in the cabin. If you're wondering why it's taking forever, they feed into a junction box, which, as you can see, is not the easiest in the world to work on. Out, positive, negative, fused to the main junction box, which then feeds back to the battery. So there's the circuit essentially. Battery into the power out feed, junction box splits off into 2, feed continues out, which is fused into another junction box, which then feeds out to the different circuits in the cabin. So in theory, there is the first circuit. There are 2 of these junction boxes, 2 of these junction boxes, so maybe you can appreciate it is taking me a bit of time. I've no clue what time it is actually right now, but I'm guessing it's getting on for 9:30, maybe even later. Anyway, we'll continue on and you'll get an update as and when I do stuff. Okay, just to prove the theory, I've just rough fitted this. Please don't do this at home like this with power. It is 12 volts, but it's still electric at the end of the day. So yeah, temporary feed into the battery. First junction box is this one here. Power out through a fused spur into this splitter junction box, which has 3 feeds out. It's the 12 volt socket power outlet that it's providing power to, the original cabin lighting, and the pump for the water. So if we test the theory, old cabin, lights which are on a switch. Yay! So we've got lights in there now. 12 volt socket which is mounted on the wall here. I've just plugged in this cordless vacuum, so that works. Get rid of a bit of mess. So the power outlet works, and the pump is on this as well for the water. So that's under there. Pump works. So we are officially making progress. So I've got to replicate this again and then decide where it's getting mounted in the cabinet. Still loads to do, but I think I'm going to make a quick coffee now. I have been on this for hours. I'm just waiting for that kettle to boil. I'll just show you quickly outside, because the weather is actually quite shocking. If you can see the trees moving, there's quite a gust coming. I do keep popping out just to look at that polytunnel. It is a northerly wind, so it's coming from this direction, which is good, in that the cabin provides a little bit of protection from it, but I can hear that polytunnel flapping about while I'm in the cabin. So fingers crossed it doesn't get any worse today. Rain has stopped, it just keeps coming and going. But having that wood burner on in the cabin is quite nice. Neighbours' geese are not happy for some reason. They're tutting away next door. But anyway, get out of the cold, back in the cabin and get some more done. Okay, so a little update. We've now got main junction feeding out to 2 more junctions, which then in turn feed out to the circuitry for the cabin. Both fused, connected to the battery. The solar charger shows that we've got power in the battery. We did that socket before with this Hoover, so that works. We've got lights in the cabin. We've now got lights kitchen and workbench, and at the side of the what will be a cabinet, bathroom lights, and we should have, if we dare go outside in this weather. God, this is a bit shocking. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Got the light switch. Yeah, so we've got lights everywhere. Cabin now has full power. Excellent. I have got a couple more feeds that I'll wire up. They're not going to go anywhere. They're just going to provide add-on power in the future for whatever else I might want adding on. I may as well put them in now while I've got everything out. And then all that remains then is to go and brave the outside to connect up the panels. Oh, and of course the 220 volt mains. But I'm going to have another cup of coffee because I have been at this for hours. So I'll come back to you with a bit more progress later. Well, it's 12 o'clock already, but we're more or less there. Batteries are in. Power feeding from the charge controller is in, so the batteries are connected to the system. I've got my junction boxes mounted on the walls. I've got a spare junction box with 2 power feeds coming out. I've just put those into a little chocolate block connector so that they're ready to go. Anytime I want, I can just feed in here and take off power. No need to touch any of the junction boxes or the battery. Charge controller is in, disappears off into the wall up to those sockets. What did I say then? Inverter. I can't remember what I said. Inverter is plugged in and up to those 220 volt sockets. It's not connected to the battery right now. Next thing on the agenda is to get onto the roof and take a feed from the solar panels to the charge controller, and hopefully we'll have power coming from the panels to the batteries. At the moment it's just showing battery power only, 12.6 volts. It's discharging. It's got load going out because it's all connected to the battery. So outside into the wind and rain, unfortunately, to get the cable fed through. All we're waiting for is literally one cable. That's all we're waiting for. So let's get cracking and get that done. Right, I've just drilled a hole through outside to get the cables in. They're not connected to the panels yet. I need to connect them to the charge controller first. Make sure that I don't touch any bare wires together when they're plugged into the panels. Last thing I'm doing. Blowing a gale out there. Not fun being out on the roof, I'll tell you. But we're almost there. Well, that's the power feed cables connected. I just need to clip this onto the side of the cabin with something just to hold it in place. But proof now, I guess, is when we go inside and see what it says on the charge controller. Well, here we go. Let's have a look, see what it says. And yep, we've got power from the panels going to charge the battery. Then we've got load coming off the battery. The load is actually this power socket that's on. You can tell it's on because it's got a blue light inside. So that's the only thing that's drawing load at the moment, but at least it just proves it works. You've got the symbol for power from the solar panel to the battery and charging, and then you've got the symbol for power being drawn from the battery to load, which is that 12 volt outlet. And at the moment the panels have got 12.9 volts coming in, which I guess, considering the state of the weather outside, that's pretty awesome. So there we go, we're done. Solar system is now up and running. I've got nothing to test the 220 volt inverter, nothing down here that runs on 220 volts, so I'll have to prove that another day, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. So excellent. And this disaster area that is the cabin needs to be tidied up now, and I'll make myself a coffee. Not much else I can do in here right now. That weather outside is pretty lousy, but I do need to just quickly check the plants in the polytunnel and give them a water, I think, because it's going to be a couple of days before I'm back down. Just done that last little job and clipped down the cables from the solar panel just to make sure they don't go anywhere. There's a little bit of silicone in that hole at some point, but for now I want to get into this polytunnel, just check if they need watering, and then I can start tidying up the cabin. Right, we'll get these quickly watered. I don't think they need a great deal, to be honest. You can probably hear the polytunnel's taking a bit of a battering. This wind is really strong. It wasn't forecast for this kind of gale force, but clearly it's here. It arrived with a vengeance last night and it's not giving up today. So I might be a little bit worried about this polytunnel over this next week. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to get these watered up, very impressed with these cucumbers, how they're coming, and I'll get tidied up in the cabin, and that'll be it for today. But good progress. I'm really quite pleased. Well, that's the cabin locked up. I did tidy up, I promise. This weather's not improving. I think we're in for another beating tonight with the winds, but thankfully it stopped raining. Everything's away. Don't know where those little scraps of wood have come from. I'll organise those before I disappear. But it's another good day. Progress and completion for the solar, which is really good. I'm really pleased. That's it. I just tidied away those few bits of wood. Can you see those trees? How much they're moving? It's really getting strong now. So it's just as well I'm off home. Another day, another weekend. We'll see what we can get done next time.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope you found something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How's it all looking? I'm really pleased I got that solar finished. It was starting to weigh on my mind a little bit. I had my doubts when I saw the weather today, but everything went well. Fiddly, lengthy, but it went well. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.